extremely large and complex. We had more than 200 law enforcement personnel who are directly supporting the operation today. These numbers are needed to effectively, efficiently, and quickly conduct the operation. These staffing numbers also helps ensure the safety of our officers as well as the illegal aliens that we take into custody. Safety is paramount for everyone involved in this operation, not just our officers, but the employees that we encounter as well. I want to be very clear. We have an obligation when we conduct a worksite enforcement operation to determine alienage of all workers encountered. We cannot execute a search warrant for records and turn a blind eye to the illegal workers. The illegal workers are part of that criminal search warrant. Our ICE partners in enforcement and removal operations were also involved in this operation to help with fully and quickly processing those aliens who are administratively arrested on immigration violations. As part of the criminal enforcement operation, we took a number of steps to ensure that today's operation was conducted in a safe and humane manner. For instance, we had medical personnel on site to conduct medical screening if necessary. Child Protective Services was on standby. ICE will make counselor notifications during processing of the illegal aliens as applicable. We're also providing toll-free telephone access for unauthorized workers to contact legal service providers or consular or diplomatic officers from their countries. ICE also will be providing meals and water to all those administratively arrested. This is for the public. ICE has a 24-hour toll-free detainee locator hotline available for family members of those arrested in this operation, which will address questions about their detention location, status, and the removal process. That number is 1-888-351-4024. Let me repeat that because I want to make sure the public gets this because I know there's a lot of questions out there. 1-888-351-4024. Those that have been administratively arrested will be processed for removal proceedings and may be entitled to a hearing before an immigration judge. That depends on their previous criminal and/or immigration history. A list of free legal services is being provided to all unauthorized workers. ICE will continue to make custody determinations on a case-by-case basis in this case. During processing, ICE may determine that some individuals meet the qualifications to be released on their own recognizance, such as those that have no significant criminal record and are not a flight risk. Part of this process will also identify special case aliens, for example, aliens who illegally re-entered the U.S. after having been previously deported, or aliens who have criminal convictions or outstanding criminal warrants. As part of this investigation, we'll also determine if criminal charges are warranted against those who were originally administratively charged. Historically, some of those subsequent criminal charges might include using fraudulent documents, fraud, misusing visas and immigration documents, false claim to United States citizenship, and identity theft. It's very important to note identity theft is not a victimless crime. It's especially damaging, especially to the victims whose identities are stolen. This crime can play havoc for years with an innocent victim's credit, taxes, ability to make large purchases, and even their ability to collect Social Security and welfare benefits. I also want to emphasize that everyone we encounter and arrest is treated with dignity and respect throughout the process. One of the vital issues we take great pains to ensure is that we identify sole caregivers of minor children. Each encountered alien is asked multiple times at different stages during the process if they are the sole caregivers to minor children. In many instances, we release those individuals on humanitarian grounds. However, in some cases, such as an alien with a violent criminal history, we look to find a relative or a friend who can take custody of those children. If that's not an option, we have Child Protective Services on standby. That's not our norm, and we always look for other options first before CPS gets involved. Non-governmental organizations or NGOs have also been notified to provide additional support to the individuals arrested as needed. For various other reasons, such as medical issues, we may also release aliens on humanitarian grounds. However, every qualified illegal alien who is encountered is being issued a notice to appear before a federal immigration judge. To summarize, businesses that knowingly hire illegal aliens create an unfair advantage over their competing businesses. In addition, they take jobs away from U.S. citizens and legal residents, and they create an atmosphere poised for exploiting an illegal workforce. Thank you very much. As much as I can, I'll try to address your questions, but please remember, it is an ongoing criminal investigation, so I won't be able to answer questions in that area. Yes, sir.
I was just curious. Can you expand a little bit when you talked about how large an operation is? You're not just talking about North Texas, but you're talking about
Nationwide.
Yeah, can you expand on that a little bit, please? And you also said that the administrative arrests are part of this, but not the primary part. So has the company been cooperative? Have you conducted operations here at this location or other company locations previously?
I can't speak to that because that's part of the criminal investigation. This is nationally the largest one-site operation as regarding the number of illegal workers that were administratively arrested at one site in the last 10 years, and that is nationally.
You mentioned local employers, though, that are part of this criminal investigation. Are they related to CVE? Or what's the common thread between them all?
Sorry?
You mentioned local employers that are related to this criminal investigation. What's the common thread between them, between CVE and these other local employers?
I'm talking generally employers.
Okay.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding what part of the...
It was at the very beginning, and then you said that CVE, those 4 staffing companies.
Oh, yes, staffing companies within CVE.
Where are those located?
At CVE.
At CVE.
Yes.
Coming off that, I know CVE has some other offices nationwide. I think there's one in Plano, I think there's one in New Jersey. Did this operation include those? Were there raids at those locations?
No, this was specific to the CVE location in Allen.
Where are the people who were arrested, administratively arrested, being taken to? Which detention facilities or holding facilities? Are you going to elaborate on that?
It's facilities contracted with, that ERO contracts with here locally. They will be in the greater metropolitan area here.
Can you say where specifically?
I can't. It varies based on the numbers. There may be a couple different locations that are being used. Again, that 1-800 or that 888 number, family uses that. That will help deter or give them information where their family members or friends are located.
We've met several people out at CVE that had these green bracelets. What do those indicate?
That they were, the green is that they're authorized worker.
And some also received, I think it was told, blue and yellow wristbands as well. Do you know what the other?
Blue is for law enforcement. I was wearing a blue one myself. I just cut it off. Actually, someone else cut it off for me because I was trying to do it left-handed. Didn't work out very well when you're right-handed using scissors with the wrong hand. The yellow was for the illegal workforce.
You mentioned that oftentimes undocumented workers undercut the market and are subject to being mistreated. Is that believed to have happened in this case?
I don't know at this time. Can't comment on that.
In the press release, you talk about how multiple tips initiated this investigation. Can you elaborate on that at all?
Many tips have come in over a period of some time about this company hiring illegal workers using fraudulent documents.
Has anyone from the company been detained today?
I can't answer that.
And
Well, anyone from the company, we detained over 280 of their workers.
managers?
No.
Will they be detained or?
That's part of the criminal investigation. I can't speak to that.
Are they cooperative or
Sorry?
are they cooperating with you or?
I had no interaction with the corporate people today. I was on site, but I didn't have any interaction with them.
After the I-9 audit, they comply or?
They're required by law to submit their I-9s when we serve them with a notice of inspection.
What message do you think today's operation sends to employers and to these people, employees?
We need integrity in our immigration systems. Illegal workers, these companies need to go about it properly. They need to be using a legal workforce. It's required by law. And as I said, it undercuts other businesses that are trying to use a legal workforce. It also potentially exploits the illegal workers. As I said, they are often paid, talking generically, I'm not talking the specific company specifics here, but they're often paid less than the going wage. Sometimes there are other unfair labor practices or OSHA violations, and they're afraid to complain oftentimes because they'll feel like they lose their job. I mean, they become victimized by their employers. I can't say that it's happening in this case. I'm just talking in general. the situation is ripe for exploitation of the illegal workforce.
Does this firm have a government contract?
I don't know.
Is that something that's going to be?
That's something to be looked into.
The electronics that they take in, do you know what companies they work with?
I think they have contracts with various companies, cell phone type devices. You know, I don't have mine here, but I think they do have contracts with various larger companies that many of us purchase phones from.
This was just done at the Allen facility?
Yes.
Right? Not in Plano or
No.
New Jersey or anything like
No.
that? Is that possible?
Can't say at this time.
How long have you been working on this case? Since you received the first deal?
I think actively, it's a process. I mean, you don't jump right into doing one of these operations immediately, but at least a year.
You're gonna keep doing this in the whole Metroplex area or nationwide, or?
It's a priority. Worksite enforcement is a priority for our agency at this time, so yes.
What consequences do the employers face? I think you touched on fines and can you elaborate a little bit on the potential consequences?
They're all different. I mean, there are various criminal penalties, and they carry any. There's a range of penalties, a range of fines. It's really just a case by case basis.
But you said this was an ongoing criminal investigation, so do the managers at this company potentially face being charged themselves in addition to the company?
Potentially, managers could be in these types of cases, but again, I can't speak to this one specifically.
We saw some people when we were out there, I think family members who had papers with them and were trying to get in touch with people inside. How does that process work? For example, if someone just didn't have the papers with them that day, how do you confirm that?
It would depend on what the papers are. It would be a case by case basis.
But like if someone was trying to get proof that this person has no residency, and they weren't able to communicate, or get them the papers, would that cause them to be detained?
Generally, we would, in the systems, in our immigration systems, we normally see if they have valid authorization. It's often located in our electronic systems that we can. It's usually not. You need to have your physical card, your physical paperwork. Not always, but in general. So it probably, without saying it, I don't really want to say never, but.
How many people altogether work at this facility?
I don't have the number on the top of my head.
I think it's over 900.
Is it over 900?